Hi, this is Johannes Parker. I wanted to take a few minutes with you and talk about the importance of diversity. See, what happens is we get caught in our own little bubble and we're used to certain things that we personally like. Well, when you're understanding diversity, it allows you to understand that it's not all about you. It's not all about your own little bubble in life and your own little bubble at school or your own little bubble in your workplace. Diversity is power. And it's power because it's understanding why things are different and understanding that difference does not necessarily mean bad or evil. I remember the first real time I had opportunity to understand how important diversity is. I was in high school and I was at a boarding school in high school. Now this boarding school wasn't just anywhere. It was in the Appalachian Mountains in Kentucky. The hills of Kentucky, the great country landscape. And the roommate that I had was from Ethiopia. Now this was the first time that I really had a close encounter with somebody from Ethiopia. And in fact, it was the first time that I was this close with anybody from Ethiopia. It was a little different. And I was a little shell-shocked. See, he would cook foods that I've never smelled before, never tasted before, or never even heard of before. He would listen to music. In fact, he would listen to Bob Marley all of the time. Whenever we were in our dorm room, he had Bob Marley playing constantly, non-stop. This was unacceptable for me because it was out of my comfort zone. It was something that I was absolutely not used to and absolutely didn't even want to take the time to investigate and find out what he was about. Find out what his culture was about. Find out why his food smelled differently than the American food that I was used to. See, I wanted to stay in my comfort zone, stay in what I knew. Even though we played soccer together on the same team, I wasn't comfortable and I wasn't happy because I wanted to be my own safe, comfortable place in life. Well, I went to the dean of students and said, hey, you know what, I need to move out of here. This is not comfortable for me. This guy is totally different than me, so therefore I wanted to find a new roommate. But because it was the early stages of school and people had just moved into their dorm room, he said, let's wait and see who wants to move to another room, and then we'll find a new room for you. I said that was fine. Well, a couple of days later, after visiting with the dean of students, we had just spent about 3 hours of soccer practice and I was exhausted. So we both went back to the dorm room, we both got cleaned up, and he started cooking. Well, it wasn't time to go to lunch or dinner and I was starving, and so I was smelling the foods and I was like, oh my goodness. And you ever had hunger pains? Well, I had hunger pains times 1,000. And he looked at me and me holding my stomach saying, oh, I cannot wait until lunchtime. He said, would you like some? Well, yes, the foods was different and it smelled different than anything I ever had before, but I was starving, and because I was starving, I was able to say yes. I had a bowl of this food and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many beautiful flavors. It's so wonderful. In fact, I ended up having 4 bowls of his food that I never had before, and I loved it. And he looked and said, wow, you were really hungry. I said, no, this is really, really good. See, that was the start of the journey of getting to know my roommate Dugum from Ethiopia. That was the start of me saying, okay, he might be different, but let me find out how he's different. Let me find out why he's different. Let me find out the differences that were between him from Ethiopia and me from a Western culture. And I found out the difference was not that big at all, and the food was wonderful. See, once I was able to say, it's not about me, let me invest and find out what this guy's all about, we became the very best friends. In fact, how close did we become friends? He was not only my high school roommate, through all of high school, he was even my college roommate. We were that close. See, it took me just spending a little time to really get to know him, find out what he's about, find out why he listened to Bob Marley all of the time. See, See, when I first moved into that room and he first moved in, he would listen to Bob Marley all the time, and other Ethiopians would come and visit our room. And I would try to take a nap, I would try to be asleep, and because I wasn't used to the different language, it was so loud to me. It was so uncomfortable, and it aggravated and got on my very last nerve. I would yell and say, "Quiet down, please!" But it was only because I wasn't used to it. Once I got used to it, it wasn't that loud. Once I got used to the smell of the different spices and the different herbs, it was actually pretty wonderful. When we step out of our comfort zone and find out about different people, why they do what they do, we will learn so much about different people, and it will help us to grow personally. To this day, because of that relationship I had in high school and in college, I have met Ethiopians all around the world, all the different places I've ever visited. And we have had an instant common ground because I said, hey, my roommate was from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and his name was Doug Maui. And because of that common ground, because they saw that I knew somebody also from Ethiopia, they were comfortable with me. And we were able to grow a great friendship because of my friendship with my friend from high school and in college. I love teaching college students and people in the workforce about diversity, because when we're able to step out of our own personal comfort zone and say, why are people different, we're able to truly learn not only about them, but we learn a little bit more about ourselves. I hope that you have taken this information and said, how can I learn something new about somebody I either work with or go to school with? And how can I build a better, stronger, deeper, and more authentic and transparent relationship with them today? This is Johns Parker, and I look forward to coming to your workplace or coming to your college, university, and talking to you more about the differences between our cultures and the difference between our diversities.